Hello everybody, welcome to Balsamic Moon Tarot. Today's reading is called What is Your True Calling? What are you being called to do? And this is a pick a card reading, so here are the 3 cards for you to pick. Feel free to skip ahead to the timestamp below for your reading. And I'll just go through the cards and give you a close-up. So we have the protection card here. It's paired with a jade stone. For pile number 2, we have the freedom card. Freedom. And it's paired with this lovely Shiva eye chakra stone. Has a shell fossil here from a snail. And, let me show the card. And then for pile number 3, we have potential. It might be a bit dark, but there is a beautiful starry night setting with a mountain peak in the distance and a constellation of stars behind it. And that is paired with the lapis lazuli stone. Okay, so if you want to decide based on the card or the stone, that's up to you. Whatever pile you're most drawn to will be your reading for today. Okay, I'll see you there. Hi, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. You selected the card for protection, which depicts a beautiful tree, as well as lightning strikes above, showing immense activation energy, and yet here the tree is grounded and safe and isn't being harmed by the lightning. So this reading is about your true calling, your true purpose. What are you being called to do? And I've already shuffled it and selected the first cards to start the reading off with, but then I'm going to do all the shuffling and selection on screen. And I really want to go deep and get as specific as possible. But if any of this doesn't resonate for you, that is totally fine. This reading is really a confirmation for anyone who's really been doing this work, really trying to let go of, falsehoods, really figure out what they're about, what is your, not just what is your purpose, but what makes your heart sing, right? So this isn't just career or job. It isn't even role centric. It isn't even about your role in life. It's going to try to draw as big and vivid a picture about your calling. And if everything is clicking with you and resonating with you, then you know that this is the reading, okay? So I just wanted to give that as an introduction. But yeah, this is, today I got the message that this is the kind of reading that needs to be done today. So let's get started. You've got some really major cards. You've got a couple major arcana cards, but you've got, incredible energy already coming through. We have the World card, the Star, and the 8 of Swords here. And we also have the 6 of Cups. So what I'm getting for you, pile 1, is that you are being called. You are being called to help lead and also help fix problems that have been very long running, very spiritual in nature or philosophical in nature. You're being called to solve global real world problems. You're very curious, not just curious, you're very passionate about learning how the entire world works. You're passionate and curious about learning what is it that humanity is all about? What does humanity all share with each other? What is human nature? Why are we the way we are, right? Why is our species the way we are? I feel like with this Eight of Swords, you see so much potential in other people. And you really see all the suffering that is caused when you see so many people around you who are very stuck in their narrow, limited way of thinking. So you're really being called to try to take the blindfold off, so to speak, right? To try to educate people, educate others, educate us, right? You're trying to educate us on how we've been misled, misinformed, and also held back, right? Restrained in the deepest sense, restrained in a psychological sense, not a physical sense, right? Restrained because of our limited worldviews. Yeah, so that's what I'm getting first. With protection, you were drawn to this protection card, but I also feel like you were drawn to the lightning strikes. You are very tuned into the conflicts happening, global conflicts around the world, and you really understand that a conflict in one part of the world is connected to another issue at another side of the world. You see all these interrelations. You make all these connections because your love of the earth, your love of Mother Earth, planet Earth, is very deep. And you understand how all these conflicts are harming the planet on a very deep and spiritual level, not just tangible and physical, but even a spiritual level. So let's pull some more cards. Let's see what else we can learn today. Please, the guides, I said guard, interesting. Yeah, I would like to know more about Pile of Wands' purpose, calling. Oh, wow. Six of Cups. So this is an affirmation that everything I said is ringing true here, and it's spot on. And it's also an emphasis on the first Six of Cups. So what is it about the Six of Cups? Okay, the Ten of Wands. Yeah, you are very tuned into global changes and very invested in the younger generation. You see how up until now the younger generation will have to carry a lot of the burden, a lot of the responsibility for choices they didn't make, and that really you really feel that on a deep level, and you're very invested in addressing the needs of the younger people today. So that's what I'm seeing first. So I am seeing an environment that does deal with children, or if not children, young people, and those formative experiences. Have it, like, I feel like you really see yourself. I feel like you would. I'm getting so many thoughts at once here. So there is one expression of this, which could be the teacher, right? The teacher who teaches young kids all about the world. That is one expression, but I feel like there's something more here. It's almost like I see you actually teaching kids how to be playful, be in the moment, how to celebrate nature, right? How to enjoy nature, how to thrive in the natural world. You really want kids to get in touch with the physical world, with even with their bodies, right? Like, just to be more exuberant, to be more sports could be one expression, to be, yeah, just to feel that vibrancy. I feel like you feel You feel like children are not allowed to play anymore. There's like that sense, like you feel like children are not given the time or the space to just be kids. And so you really want to relieve that burden that we've been placing on them. The expectations, right? All these expectations being placed on kids now to be these kind of superhumans, and yet we don't give them the tools to succeed. You know, so that's one frame of mind there. So definitely working with children, or even working with adults to be more like children, working with people to just get in touch with their inner child. But it's for you, it's all connected here to these larger global issues. For you, it's like that's how the personal and the political, right? That's how the personal is the political, is that you really feel like people in general are limited and unable to get in touch with their inner child. Let's see what else we have. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the World again. Okay, another emphasis here. And then we have the Queen of Wands. Wow, this is really strong. So travel is another aspect to this. You could be somebody who really wants to give people travel experiences that are going to not just be pleasure, right, and adventure, but to also be informative, to be educational. I also feel like your purpose and your calling is, wow, so there's a lot of inspiration here with the Star card, but I feel like with the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands, and then the World in between, there's something about experimentation here is what I'm getting. There's something about like viewing the world as a laboratory even, and empowering people to solve their own problems in experimental ways, you know, really being focused on innovation here, even being a trailblazer, being very iconoclastic, like trying to break down social conventions and these very limiting social practices, traditions, culture. You really want to advance culture. I don't see you wanting to advance a particular culture. I feel like you really want to advance global culture, you know, like maybe even the practices of the global community, the practices of diplomacy and global business, right? Like there are global practices that you really want to shake up and improve and advance and progress. Wow. Queen of Cups. So we're getting more picture here of not just what you're doing, but what the people around you are doing. Wow, the Ace of Wands. Let me put this here. The Queen of Cups and the Ace of Wands, I am getting it for a different person. Just taking a moment. Who is this Queen of Cups? What is this Queen of Cups about? It could be mothers. It could be women who are women who are doing a lot of labor of love, whether being parents or also being healers, being medicine women, being healers and even doctors, medical practitioners. There's definitely something health related here, and I feel like you want to improve those practices or serve them, right? You want to serve people in the healing professions, in the healing, who are called to heal. You want to make it easier for them to do what they do. And even though I'm getting a strong feminine energy here, I mean, it could be women's health, right? It could be women's health, it could be reproductive health. I'm getting feminine energy and maternal energy, but it's not necessarily Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's the fact that the role tends to be feminized, but it doesn't have to be feminized. So like nursing is a profession that tends to be women dominated, but it, you know, by no means do you have to be a woman to be a nurse, right? You can be a male nurse. So there is something here about helping that field, helping the industry, helping people in this role improve what they're doing. I'm also getting strong medicine woman energy because with Queen of Cups and protection, it's like you want to protect the habit, the places where, you know, these traditional medicines, or even non-traditional medicines, like there's something about how nature is, these natural remedies and the natural sources of these forms of healing, those actual places, those environments, those habitats need to be protected. And you see that as part of a global system. So especially with global conflicts, you see that how it's having a really bad impact on, wow, yeah, Four of Swords. There's the hospital system here. So once again, you're seeing how children not being allowed to, not being able to play. You really want to repair the global forces that are causing such disruption in child rearing and in just childhood in general. You're seeing all this damage and destruction tied to global forces that are impacting how children and the people raising these kids, right? So it's like children, parents, what should be beautiful and supportive and what should be supported by society is instead being decimated in a lot of ways. These like healing practices. Yeah, wow, I'm getting a lot there, and it is getting pretty specific. So if this isn't your reading, it isn't your reading, but if this is yours and this is all clicking for you, I hope you stick around. So with the Four of Swords, yes, you want to create a sanctuary, a place of protection. Wow, so I feel like I've kind of painted a pretty vivid picture of what the calling is, or what the environment for the calling is. I'm going to pull some more cards that will really focus on advice and like next steps forward, and like what can you do from here, right? What are the guides saying in terms of this moment? Where are we now? Friction, yeah. What I think is interesting about this card is we see a figure holding a heart and a cup. Well, they're holding a cup, a heart, but it's blue, and it really mirrors this Queen of Cups. So with this card as advice, I feel like it's a strong confirmation that the people you think, you know, you see are in peril, right? Like these healers, or this healing modality, this healing practice that you see is in peril. You do need to help, and you know, it's this affirmation that your instinct to come to the rescue, in a sense, right? Like I think that's just confirmation. It's interesting that for a card called Friction, you really don't see friction. It's a very serene card to me. It also makes me think, yeah, it's mirroring other things in the spread. So I'm seeing the world in this sun-like figure. And I'm also seeing that same circle here with the star. So it is about a circular process. It's about cycles. And how there is an inevitable cycle, I would say. There is something about friction that there's a certain inevitability to it. So it's not like you can make a sanctuary that will always be protected. It's more like you are trying to repair the cycle itself, right? You're trying to identify those variables that contribute to the damage and destruction, and you're trying to identify all those kind of weak links in a chain, weak links in a cycle that contribute. So for example, like if a natural habitat for a certain medicine is being destroyed, then you know the people who relied on that particular herbal medicine or medicinal practice, the people are impacted right away. And if their health is impacted right away, then their children are impacted ultimately, right, and do bear the brunt of that level of destruction. So you're like identifying all the friction points, all the damage that's happening in that cycle. So I do feel like you want to be someone who informs on a very high level. It could be academia, but it's something, it's like having a platform, right? It's about emitting information. So it could be the reporting of what's going on. It could even be being a specialist in this particular topic, right? It's like being a specialist who can inform others of, who can really distill the information and distribute that, like disseminate information widely. Because I do see with the star in the world, this is definitely getting information out there as wide and far as possible, and really doing a lot of work to make sure that information is not misconstrued or misappropriated, but really trying to get the truth out there, right? We're trying to inform the public about myths or just falsehoods, you know? Okay. Can we get advice now, please? Let's focus on advice. Next steps for pile 1, what are the next steps that pile 1 needs to focus on? If they want to pursue this calling, if this is the calling that resonates for them, what is the advice? Wow, Queen of Wands. You're getting all these repeat cards, so it's very cool. You know, where this reading and this line of inquiry, is spot on. So it's like with the Queen of Wands, I was talking about experimentation earlier. I was also talking about travel and, you know, using experiences to expand consciousness, expand people's minds. So I think in your case, the Queen of Wands is saying to travel. I do think you are planning a trip, or you've had a wish to plan a trip to be able to travel to somewhere in particular. And I think this is confirmation that you need to travel. You need to go where you feel like you're going to get the experience or the growth firsthand, right? You're going to learn firsthand information that's really valuable, and it comes with a sense of adventure. So this could be traveling to a part of the world you've never been, or it could be traveling to a place where there's a language barrier, but it's going to require you to definitely get out of your comfort zone and stretch yourself, which is very exciting too. You're ready for that challenge. But again, it comes with challenge, okay? So with friction, you are looking, you know that your purpose in life is to not just be complacent and to settle down. You know that your purpose in life is to be seeking these challenges and to be a badass, you know, to be a warrior on some level, right? Like you're fighting for something. You have a battle. You're fighting like other people's complacency. You're fighting other people's limited viewpoints. Service. Wow. Okay. Yes. I mean, so again, I couldn't help but think of women's health, women's reproductive health, women's practices, right? Or like medicine women, traditional medicine practices or non-traditional medicine practices. Here we see service, and we see you know, two figures, and they look very feminine to me. So I think there's a woman, you know, brushing the hair of the other person, and then the word service. And oh gosh, I just had it. What was I just thinking of? It's the fact that in these circles, right? It's the fact that because these circles are often overlooked by systems of power, that you see the potential. You see tremendous potential in getting information out through women and caregivers, okay? Through service workers. So I even said nurses before. So it's like, if you're trying to get the medical industry changed, you understand that you have to get nurses on board. It's that type of thing, right? You understand the community that will be so greatly impacted, and you really want to get information out to them. So I would say advice is also to find a way to be of service, like immediately, right? Like, this could be volunteering, it could be changing your job, but to really be in the operations, right? To be embedded in the community that you are trying to serve here. Not trying to serve them from afar, not trying to serve them from an ivory tower, but really, you know, again, getting embedded in the community, like being a participant, not just an observer. That's what I'm getting there. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull a few more oracle cards. Pile one, very cool reading. I hope this has been helpful for you. It's pointing to a very exciting, you know, exciting life. Wow, don't quit your daydream. With the unicorn, okay? What? I love that. Let me see if this can get better focus. Don't quit your daydream. So, yeah, if you have been dreaming of this big change and, you know, this big adventure, like, go for it. Go for it, you know, and be practical, be pragmatic. Don't like do anything too silly here, but it's like, don't quit your daydream. Like, the saying is usually don't quit your day job, but this is saying like, no, don't quit your daydream. Stay inspired. What is this one? Consciousness. This is the Ace of Swords. So cool. Yeah. Ace of Swords, right? This is a decisive victory. It's also about when we make a decision. Oh my goodness. Page of Wands adventure. I mean, come on. Absolutely. So the Ace of Swords and the adventure card here are showing to me that, yeah, it's showing to me that there's so much you are ready to learn, and you just really feel like you can't learn things from this bubble you're in. I'm even seeing the Four of Swords again. I feel like you really feel like there's so much gaps in your knowledge and you want to fill them, but you don't really want to fill them with secondary information. You want to fill them with primary, you want to fill them with experience. You want to have the experience learning firsthand, learning, you know, seeing for yourself. Can I pull other cards here? What did I not pull so far? This one, okay. We're going to end with this deck here. Advice for pile one, please. What is the advice for pile one as they pursue their calling? Okay, it's this card. attract through glow. Wow, isn't that cool? Because this, I can't help but look at the friction card, and it also makes me think of the star card. It also makes me think of all the wands, court cards that, you know, the Queen of Wands came up twice, the Knight of Wands, the Page of Wands. Attract through glow. You know, there's something here when I see this, and even the Service card and the Queen of Cups, there's something here about the glow up, right? Beauty, the glow up. There's something here about beauty standards and like really knocking them down and being very true to you, true to your value system here. You want everyone to feel as good. You want everyone to understand how beautiful they are, inside and out, right? You want to take that inner beauty that you're so attuned to, and you want to be able to give that to others as a gift. I think that you have enormous respect and admiration for communities and people who normally don't get that respect and admiration, you know, from their own society. And it seems like you really want to address that deficit, right? It's like a deficit in the services, the support they're getting. There's a support deficit, or there's a care deficit. Yeah, wow, so much. I'm so excited for you, Pile 1. I hope this made sense for you. And like, you know, if it did, please click the like and subscribe buttons. Feel free to share in the comments what rang true for you. But I'm just really excited, Pile 1, and thank you so much for bringing your energy to this reading. It's definitely welcome energy, and I really hope the best for your next steps here and this very cool adventure that you're on an incredible mission here, and all the best of luck to you, Pile 1. Take care. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. Today we're talking about your true calling. What are you being called to do? And I just want to say I'm going to get as specific as I can. If everything you're getting is clicking for you, then by all means keep watching, keep going. But if there isn't something that resonates, feel free to take what resonates and leave the rest, or feel free to change the video. You know, maybe this isn't your reading, but I really want to get as deep and specific as I can to make sure that the person or the persons who are meant to watch this video get as much information as they can. And I also want to say that I don't believe that we have one true calling, and I don't believe that we have one calling our whole lives. I feel like we have a calling at any given time or phase in our life. And it is on us, you know, it's part of our work to check in with that, to really see, you know, calibrate ourselves, right? It's like calibration, checking in with ourselves to see, are we following our inner compass? Are we, you know, going in the right direction? And so this reading is really about that. It's about pulling as much information, because if you're doing that work, then this will just be confirmation that you're on the right path, okay? So Pile 2, you picked the Freedom card, which is lovely depiction here of a flock of birds, but the focus is on this one bird. And you know, I'm already getting I'm actually getting a very gentle energy from you. I think you're actually someone who likes to go with the flow and who likes to go along with the crowd, but there's like something quirky about you. There's something that you might even keep to yourself, just how quirky or how different your perspective is. But you know, you don't have to assert that so much. You don't have to like, you don't see the point in like advertising it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But you have a very I don't know, I'm getting a very warm, kind-hearted, a kind energy here. Very kind, very sweet, very sensitive. Okay, so that's where what we're starting with. Let's see what we have so far. I started shuffling and I managed to get a lot of cards from one particular deck. These cards want to come out, and then I'm going to pull some more cards to just get more information and clarify. So what do we have? We have the Lover's card. Wow, yeah, see, sensitive soul. That's such a lovely abstract image for the Lover's card. Wow, the Ace of Cups. The Ten of Swords. Interesting. The Six of Wands. Put that here. Okay. The Devil. And the Three of Cups. Okay. So what is your true calling? What are you being called to do? What is your purpose? Pile number 2. Very, very cool. And I love the energy of this Ace of Cups here. The first thing I'm getting is that you're very attached to the people around you in their close vicinity. It might be a close-knit family or close-knit social circle. You know, maybe there's a group of friends, or maybe there's like some people you grew up with, but I am feeling a lot of closeness here. And I think you see a lot people in your inner circle, right? I feel like you see people in your inner circle struggling. They may not even be confiding in you everything, but you are just so attuned that you can pick up on it. And okay, so I'm just gonna say everything I'm getting. Okay, like you pray for them, you really pray for them to be healed or encouraged, strengthened. Oh my gosh, that movie. What is the movie with Bette Midler where she sings "The Wind Beneath My Wings"? If that's a message for you, there you go. But that was a movie, very gut-wrenching movie. Heartbreaking story about 2 women who are just the best of friends, and it really tracks them from their childhood into adulthood and like becoming mothers, you know, being married, and all the inevitable heartbreak that growing up in encompasses, right? And it tracks this friendship, and it's a beautiful movie. Gosh, why can't is it called Friends? What is it called? Anyway, if you just Google "Wind Beneath My Wings" and the movie, it's the soundtrack that it's on, that you'll find the movie. But the point I'm trying to make is I feel like you really want to be that. You really value that type of connection, and you really want to do your best to be a good friend. And I don't know if it's just the way you are, or if you've learned the hard way. You know, if you've had to go through a crisis in your own life where you didn't feel support. Maybe you even hold some guilt because there was someone in your life who went through a hard time and you couldn't be there for them, you know, and you really want to make amends for that. You really want to live the rest of your life being a supportive person to the people you love, right? You really want to be supportive to the best of your ability. Yeah, the Six of Wands. What is this card trying to tell me? So in terms of the purpose, yeah, you're a cheerleader. That's totally it. In terms of the purpose and the calling, it's like you want to be there every celebration. You want to be there for every milestone. You want to be the cheerleader. You want to be the fan in the audience. You are just so supportive, and you want to cheer your people on. Okay, I say your people because it's not like you feel this way for everyone. You really feel your calling is centered on an inner circle or a very close-knit community, a very close-knit tribe or family that you just really are invested in. And you're just invested in this, in that commitment, right? That level of commitment, that type of unconditional love that can really love another person. You can love another person unconditionally for the rest of your life. Now, is that healthy? That's another question, right? Are there pitfalls to that? Are you looking at people too idealistically? There could be a question of that. But I feel like with your purpose and your calling, the fact that you have that ideal and the fact that you have that desire and that wish is meaningful here. Because your calling might be to do more spiritual and more inner work about those connections, right? Whether it's those family connections or those friendship connections, like the even romantic, right? The partnerships, the intimacy, to do that work, that labor of love of improving intimacy in all ways between people who love each other. Okay, intimacy and safety, I would say. Now, interesting, because the Freedom card is the first card, right? And that's the card you're drawn to. So let's unpack this some more. What is your calling? What is your true calling? What is your true purpose? The Hangman. Okay, I just got it. So it's the fact that I think your experience, your initial formative experiences of the family system or of the friendship system or of the relationship, you know, your formative experiences were so traumatic or damaging. And I say that because of this Devil card. You experienced crisis early on. So your purpose is to recreate or resurrect the hope and the optimism and the belief that, you know, you can have relationships, you can create, foster, support, enable these relationships that are truly supportive and that are not damaging. I think that you are very invested in the people that you love, even when they have flaws. And I think that your calling is to just understand that more, right? Understand those dynamics more. I think psychology could be at play here. I think becoming a psychologist or educating yourself on even child development, right? Relationship development, all these the psychology of those bonds, those formative bonds, and those attachment styles, right? So like attachment theory, like I think all of that is probably part of this calling. But what I got from the Freedom card, what I'm getting from these cards is the fact that you believe in finding family, right? You don't believe that the family you're born into is necessarily the family you're meant to have by the end of your life. Like you believe that family exists in the world on a soul level, and you are here to find your soul family. It's funny because I try not to use that phrase because I feel like it's overused, but I really feel like it's meant to be used here in this reading. The Hangman. Wow. Let's keep going. Yeah, the Hangman I'm seeing here as an enlightened figure. We have the Six of Pentacles. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. So interesting. Oh, wow. And we have the Emperor. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to just say it. I feel like you might have even come from, you might have even had some money that you were born into, or like money, wealth, power, status. I feel like that's not new for you. Like you were either born into that or like you attained it early on in life. But there's something here about wanting something deeper, wanting something more meaningful, wanting something more spiritual, because you could see how the dynamics of having privilege, having money, you could see how those dynamics were so unstable. You know, you didn't feel stable in your relationships that were kind of built upon the role of you as a caregiver or you know, the person with prosperity, the person with privilege or status. Yeah, I'm seeing here like you really don't want the status. You don't want the responsibility, you don't want the attention. But why this Wheel of Fortune? That's what's confusing me, is that the Wheel of Fortune here is kind of spinning around, and it's like, what is up in the air here? There's something here. It's like what goes up must come down, but it's like something went up and it hasn't come down yet. What is the Wheel of Fortune turning? Okay, I pulled this, I just like instinctively grabbed this deck, so we're just gonna find out here from this deck. Clarify the Wheel of Fortune. Well, ecstasy. Wow. Okay, I'm getting a sexual energy from this card. Okay. Wow. I feel like, you know, going back to intimacy, sexual exploration of sexual desires, right? The freedom. Oh, wow. Look at that mirroring there. Yeah, so there is something here about definitely exploring your sexuality, especially exploring your sexuality as a way of rebelling, because I feel like you did have an experience in your life, either early on or like young to midlife. You had an experience of being, you know, having power kind of just on the surface, but feeling very disempowered. So maybe having a lot of money or having a lot of status in society, but feeling disempowered because for some reason that situation was just very restrictive for you. It could have been like the relationship you were in at the time was very restrictive, or it could be like the family, like a father figure or a patriarchal figure, someone very domineering. It could even be a mother who is just very domineering. Someone was just, you know, making you feel very making it seem like you know, you didn't deserve to be wishy-washy, or gosh, let me put it this way. You didn't deserve to question things. That's what it is. Because you benefited from the system, you didn't have a right to doubt yourself. That's like such a that's such a weird thing. That's a conundrum, but that's what I'm getting. It's like you felt all this pressure to conform because it was like who wouldn't want to be in my position, right? Who wouldn't want this comfortable life or this privilege or this power, you know, that you got from maybe like a marriage or a job. And yet the Wheel of Fortune is telling me that there was something there that just kept being very unsettled for you. You couldn't quite settle into it. And the reason why is because you really wanted to spread your wings in the realm of sexuality, and even, you know, maybe even exploring another, you know, maybe exploring sexuality different than what you presumed, you know, you had when you were younger, right? Like if you like, yeah, exploring same-sex relationships or exploring opposite-sex relationships, because you started off, you know, LGBTQ. Like it could be just the exploration that you didn't have a chance to do because you felt like you were supposed to project stability and just like a stable identity. Okay, so that's going pretty deep there. But in terms of your purpose, in terms of your calling, you are being called again to examine the deeper developmental aspects of intimacy, of relationships, of the family bonds, family ties, friendship ties. It's like there's something very psychological that I'm getting here. Okay, so let me pull this deck. What I want to clarify now is, yeah, I want to understand the freedom and the ecstasy. Because you're so, I do feel like you're very invested in your relationships. But with the Hanged Man, there's like a spiritual insight that you've gained. And it's making it hard for you to go back to the past. It's making it hard for you to like just keep doing something the same way. Ace of Pentacles. Okay. What is Pile 2's true calling here? What is Pile 2's true calling? Yeah, Eight of Cups. So, wow. I wonder if for some of you, you might even be drawn to a particular spiritual order. Yeah, the Well and the Page of Wands. Okay, so I'm getting here that some of you may be drawn to, what is that? Like a particular community that is built around a certain philosophy or spirituality. Like some of you may be drawn to an entirely new way of living, like a commune, you know, like a religious commune or a non-denominational commune, but like building a community from the ground up and building a community that turns away from very superficial, toxic, you know, practices, and is purposely trying to be a community built on faith, or a community built on spirituality, built on, you know, love, to put it simply, a community built on love. So I feel like for you, there is an opportunity that's come your way and you are considering it. And for you, what the litmus test is for this community is how they respond to your sexuality, how they respond to your sexual questioning, and your unorthodox view on sexuality. So for you, that's a litmus test, because you're not seeking just another repeat of the restrictive family system or the restrictive, you know, a patriarchal system or a very rules-based system. You're not looking for just another controlling dynamic here. You really are looking for genuine connection, kinship, solidarity, and the litmus test is going to be, do they give you your autonomy when it comes to that sexual exploration? Of course, no one would accept like doing anything that's harmful, but for you, it's like those views, those practices are going to help you decide if it's the right match for you. Can I get more? Yeah, Seven of Wands. Okay. High Priestess. Wow, Six of Swords. So this is a message of, you know, I would say, really tune into your intuition here. Pay attention to the inner voice, because you might be getting warnings and you might have to defend your inner self. You might have to defend yourself against influences that are just not what you're looking for. You might even have to just leave, frankly. Six of Swords, leaving it behind. But I see that your purpose is still to seek this family or this system, this community, that maybe even a commune, right? Like seeking a situation in which there is a very tight-knit community, and people are aligned with their heart. You know, people are like, love is genuinely the connector, and that is an amazing thing to aim for. You know, it's a beautiful ideal. But your purpose in life is to try, you know, it's to attempt it, because it's learning. You're going to have these learning experiences. It's not all going to just fall into place. That is part of your calling as well, is to make the attempts, to make the effort, because for you, it's the freedom in choosing, right? It's the freedom in being able to choose a different way of life that really calls you, intrigues you. Like, that's what excites you, right? It's the fact that you can choose where you invest your love, and you're not going to have other people define that way for you. You're not going to let toxic systems or systems of power define that for you. There's such a liberated there's a liberated soul. There's an inner soul that really wants to be liberated here in the real world. And you're going to find real world solutions for that desire, for that very deeply spiritual, emotional, and psychological desire. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Pile 2. I'm going to pull some cards of advice. Just, you know, what is the advice for where to go from here? Remember your crown, queen. Oh, wow. Love that. See, the swan. So it makes me think of the story of the ugly duckling. And, you know, the ugly duckling was just, it wasn't a duck, right? It was a swan. And so, again, the found family, right? Like finding where you belong. But again, it's not about finding where you belong. It's the fact that you belong to yourself, and you know that so deeply, and you feel it so deeply, that you create the family around you. You draw in, and you decide who is worthy of the love that you're able to give. Because the love you're able to give is so deep, you can decide who's worthy of receiving that love, not the other way around. Let's also I'm going to take this deck, and then this deck. Okay, yeah, let's go from there. Advice, please, for pile 2. Advice for next steps. Advice for next steps. Wow. Small steps, big accomplishments. What is this telling me? I mean, the advice is, yeah, I would say the advice is also day by day, right? The advice is that you may be having a big dream or a big vision, and the daydreaming itself, the dreaming, feels like you're doing something. but you've got to nudge yourself to do something every day. Do a little bit in to advance your goal here. Small steps, big accomplishments. Can I get another piece of advice from this oracle deck, please? Oh, okay. A fearful world, yeah. So, you know what I'm getting here? It's like you want to show up in the world as you really are. You're still hiding some of that, you know, for good reason. You don't want to make yourself vulnerable. You don't want to make yourself open to criticism. But what I would say is, like, there must be a way to find a way to just inhabit, like a safe space for you to just inhabit the self that you know you're ready for. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It could even be a discussion for like an online board, an online message board, but like somewhere where you can just test out your thoughts, you know, like have a soundboard, like put your thoughts outside, somewhere outside of yourself. Maybe you already journal, but I think it's good if you have your writing posted somewhere for other people to read and be, you know, and just like that practice of yeah, that practice of talking from your heart, even if it has to be anonymous, but just getting stuff off your chest, I think will be helpful. Because I think right now you are timid in doing that, and you have these dreams and you have these ideas and you have all this investment too and all this love to give, but you're still very guarded in terms of sharing that more idealistic and romantic side of yourself. Okay, so this is the last deck I'll pull from. Advice, please. Advice, please. Wow. That's really cool. New vision. So this is the Hangman. This is the same number as the Hangman. And look at that. It's the High Priestess is here too, right? So let's, okay, I'm going to pull the well. the well with the Ace of Cups. Okay, amazing. Sorry, everything is a bit of a mess now, but that's okay. So let's look at these cards together. We've got the Hangman, the High Priestess, and New Vision. So again, you have a vision, you have a purpose, and I think you know, you feel very strongly in your heart what is calling you. It's more the question of how do you open up space in the real world for this? How do you start manifesting it, right? Because you've had a lot, it's been incubating, I think, for a long time. And with New Vision, it's very spiritual in nature. It's very loving in nature. It is about, you know, the role of love in your life, like the role of love, trust, and intimacy. Can you build your family, a new family system based on that? Or can you build a new community? Or can you build a new living arrangement, right? Like a new, like a neighborhood, right? Like a whole neighborhood. Like this idea starts at the smallest level with the individual self and within your heart, but the impact and the potential is incredibly big and far-reaching. So yeah, I mean, pile 2, I hope that makes sense for you. Again, advice with New Vision is this is just to validate that what you think is unorthodox about you, what you think is so different about you, is actually what you have to offer. It's a tremendous value to the rest of us. And so whatever you can do to get this unique quality of yours, whatever you can do to get your unique energy and viewpoint out into the world is absolutely needed and necessary. Thanks for joining pile 2. Best of luck in this journey for you. And you know, please hit the like and subscribe buttons if this was your reading, and feel free to share in the comments as well. If you know, maybe that's one little step, right, that you can take, just for that piece of advice. Maybe that's one way you can do that, right? So take care, pile 2. Thank you so much. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. You selected the card Potential, and it shows a dormant volcano. It shows an inactive volcano and a night sky filled with stars. So there is a very deep message, deeply spiritual, deeply hidden message here, and I'm excited to uncover it. So I was drawn to the Osho Zen Tarot deck. I'm going to start with this deck, and yeah, we'll go from there. What is the true calling for pile number 3? What is the true calling for pile 3? What are they being called to do? What is their purpose? Okay, we have the Seven of Pentacles, patience. Okay, and these. Any more? Any other cards from this deck? One more. Okay, thank you. So we also have the Eight of Wands, traveling. Wow, the transformation card. In other decks, it's known as the Death card. The King of Wands, beautiful. Here it's known as the Creator. Whoa, and followed by the Creativity card, okay, the Empress. And Knight of Wands, intensity. This is going to go right here. So, wow, we have for you pile 3, beautiful, powerful energies coming through here. Let me just move that. There we go. Sorry, I'm like fiddling with this, but okay, you should be able to see everything. Pile 3, wow. So what's so cool is that the potential card is followed by the Seven of Pentacles, which is, or the Seven of Rainbows, which is depicting a woman who is very fertile. She could even be pregnant. And all the phases of the moon, right? So the patience and the potential here. And then the Eight of Wands. Wow. So I'm seeing here that with your true calling, I'm seeing here that you're very grounded in it. I think you've already been doing a lot of work. Like you've already known, or you are aligned with your true calling. And I also want to say, I wanted to preface this reading, first of all, to say that if everything's resonating great, this reading, my goal is to be a confirmation for what you already know, because I believe when you know your true calling, your intuition is already working, at a high level, right? So this reading, it's confirmation. If you are still very much on this journey, if you are very confused and there's not a lot of what I'm saying that is resonating, it's more than okay to disregard it and to change the video, or maybe even not pay attention to tarot readings on YouTube too much. But my goal with this reading is to really get as specific and as deep as possible, so that the person or persons who are meant to get this reading get as much information as they can, okay? So yeah, just wanted to put that first and foremost. But pile 3, I do feel like you're someone who has really explored a lot, like inner work, right? Done a lot of inner work and explored a lot of your inner world and your inner faith, right? Your faith has been tested, is what I'm getting here. And this potential and this patience card, all these cards actually are lining up to this precipice moment. This is like a moment right before the shift. So it's a moment of calm, and it's a moment of relative quiet and peace, because so much is going to be happening for you very shortly, and it's going to happen in quick succession. You're almost going to find yourself, if not straight up, just you will find yourself in like an entirely new environment, an entirely new world and role. And yet it's not going to feel like you're out of place. It's not going to feel like you have all this catching up to do, and there's a learning curve. You're going to feel very much in your element, and you're going to feel like you've arrived, and that's such a great feeling. So I'm actually very excited for you, pile 3, because I think this reading is not going to give you new information, but it's just going to give you give you a chance to appreciate everything that has led up to this moment, because I do feel like this moment of rest and just contemplation and even gratitude is needed for you, because you are going to have a lot of activity soon. So you might as well use this moment to just practice that gratitude, really reflect, okay? So we have the Knight of Wands here as well, and that's another reason why there's all this fast-moving energy coming your way, but it's really, it's really catching you at a peak moment. You are at peak capacity for whatever's being called upon you. Let's call some more cards. Let's get some more cards, and let's get as specific as possible here. With the creator and creativity, for sure, I'm seeing someone who could be very artistic, but could also be very the growth mindset, right? This is somebody who has no, wow, I want to focus on this one. Wow. Yeah. What you manifest brings a lot of peace to your surroundings. You manifest a lot of peaceful energy. It's like harmony, right? You manifest a lot of harmony in your surroundings. We have the Page of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Emperor. Wonderful. And we have the Five of Swords. Okay. So, what is your calling? What are you called to do? I think that right now, wow, yes, so I'm getting a sense of nesting, I'm getting a sense of homemaking, I'm getting a sense of the way you're setting intentions is by outwardly, like, actually crafting or collecting like physical things that remind you of this intention, this calling, this path. You really want your surroundings to reflect your purpose and your spiritual values. So yeah, I'm getting a sense of nesting. I'm getting a sense of, when I say nesting, I mean like organizing your space, decluttering your space even, and improving the way you use your space, really wanting to create. So again, the creator, right? Really wanting the space, the multiple spaces you use, wanting these environments and these spaces to align and be conducive to your mode of creativity. You're being called to enact some system here. I think you're being called to, create a system. Create quite a complex system that is, oh wow, there's a specific problem solution here, scenario. Let me unpack this. Five of Swords. Yeah, there's something that you've really, you're really tired of, like, wasted mental effort is what I'm getting, and you really want to optimize or tie up the loose ends. Definitely optimize something that's quite complex. I really want to figure this out. So let me go ahead and, yes, get this deck. Can we clarify the Emperor with the Five of Swords? Five of Wands. Yeah, see, like, just those daily annoyances, right? Daily, there's some kind of nuisance or annoying friction, or yeah, something that tends to delay your progress, and you're just really tired of it. Okay, the World and the Nine of Pentacles, which we're going to put right here for reasons. But yeah, that's awesome. Wow, we get the World, we have the Nine of Pentacles, creativity. Okay, so yeah, I'm seeing that, you know, your true calling is definitely to be very expressive in your surroundings. You know, it's not like necessarily personal style. It's like to really craft a system that is an elegant solution, and it's also a tangible physical solution. So one example of that would be in the garden that you know, maybe you have a garden, or maybe you are actually, like, you know, a farmer with the Seven of Pentacles here. This is someone who can anticipate the seasons and knows how to not just track the seasons and what these weather patterns do on the environment, but who knows how to take advantage of that. So you're learning a lot in practice, and you're using, oh, that makes sense, it's winter time here, so perhaps you're in the northern hemisphere, and now that the months are getting colder and the nights are getting longer, perhaps you're using this moment of relative calm and quiet to craft a solution, right? To really come up with a system that will optimize this project of yours that is so meaningful to you. And it seems like you're learning from a mistake. It seems like you're learning from past experience. You don't want to repeat the mistake. You really want to resolve and put an end to some kind of difficulty, or just like some kind of struggle that you think it's beneath you. You're like, I don't want to put up with that ever again. And, or, you know, I'm even getting like the whole I'm too old for this type of attitude about it. But it's great because with the Nine of Pentacles, right, we're showing so much. The potential here is going to definitely be seen in the tangible. You are going to totally reap the, you know, the fruits of your labor, right? Like, you're going to reap these benefits. You're sowing something, that you're sowing the seeds of abundance for sure. And that could be literal, that you are sowing seeds and you are a gardener. But if you're not, right, like, you could be somebody who let's see another expression of this. Like, oh, interesting. Let's say you work in the entertainment industry. You could be spending this time writing episodes. Like, maybe you're a screenwriter and or a content creator, and you're actually planning out the content, or the episodes, the storylines. Like, you're crafting something, and there's a solution involved here, right? Like, you're going to optimize what you create, but right now you're not in the actual creation mode. You're in like the planning mode, the pre-production mode, let's say. So you're taking this time to learn from the past season or the past cycle, improve the operations, improve even the creative the creative operation and the production cycle itself, improving that cycle, and maybe even using this time to experiment. Because with the Page of Pentacles, we do see the willingness to learn from mistakes, the willingness to learn new things and put new things into practice. With the Knight of Cups and the Emperor, I am getting a sense that, like, this is a passion project. This is something that you care deeply about, and you're willing to stand up for it. You're willing to put tremendous effort and resources into it because it just gives you so much pleasure. Like, it's a way of pleasure seeking for you to figure this like kind of knotty problem out, you know, to really like put your brains put all your maturity and wisdom and know-how, knowledge, yeah, apply it, right? To apply your knowledge here. It's actually a very exciting opportunity for you, and that's why you're kind of antsy to just like get started already. But you know that you can't get started right away. You know that this is a key moment right now for you to again, do some planning, do some problem solving, and even do some theoretical problem solving, trying to get the really big picture view here, and trying to find the blind spots that you couldn't see when you were too busy actually working, right? So, okay, so let's really go into the true calling aspect of it. What are you being called to do? I want to get as specific as possible just to make sure this reading reaches who it needs to reach. 10 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles. Okay. Knight of Swords. I'm getting a labor movement here. I'm getting labor. Maybe you're involved with like any of the unions that have been striking. There's multiple industries where there have been like labor strikes. Maybe you're involved in negotiations or tactics. 4 of Wands. Okay, so I do think that's in the entertainment industry showing up. I do think that you are actually, you know, someone watching this video could actually be in the entertainment industry, maybe part of the Screenwriters Guild, and someone who's been involved in the strikes. I haven't followed it too closely, but you know, you could be a leader or in charge of getting. Yeah, you have a very take charge attitude here. If you're not a leader, if you're not in a position of authority, you are just so needed. You're a very valuable employee, or you're a very valuable contributor to this industry. Okay, so I'm going to say that. Wow. Can we clarify creator and creativity? What is that in regards to the true calling? What is that about? Let's unpack that. The Lovers. Wow. Yeah, you're absolutely a visionary, and I'm getting two things here. On the one hand, I'm getting something very personal. I'm definitely getting, you know, a key relationship, a key family system, family dynamic. Someone who, you know, you could be a parent, or you could just be someone that is like, so it's like you're the heart of the family, right? Like you do a lot of centering, you do a lot of caring and carrying. Okay, you're like a heavy lifter. But I also get a sense of somebody with this true calling, with this purpose, somebody who brings beauty and elegance, right? Like the vision that you have, the talent that you have for bringing beauty into the world is very strong here. And you have this beautiful balance of having a vision and an ideal and an artistic sense, coupled with a very can-do attitude. Like you will get the job done, and if you can't do it yourself, you will find the person who can do it. So you absolutely have again that take charge attitude. You won't sleep on things, you just won't. And that's why I think this message is important for you, because this message is telling you, like, you do need to sleep, you do need to rest, you do need to take this time to take a step back and unwind a bit, because you will be that much more successful. Like the potential, again, the potential here is so great, and you may just not realize how great it is because you've been very much in like active mode, right? You've been very busy, you've been working, you've been building, you've been problem solving, you've been putting out fires, like you've been such a valuable component to whatever project or operation you're in, that you do need this reminder, right? So that being said, yeah, we want to now pull some oracle cards just to see what else, what other information can we get. Oh my goodness, gather your nuts. Okay, wow, it's showing a squirrel, although this squirrel is very cute and fluffy. It almost looks like a bunny, but it's showing a squirrel, right? And squirrels have to gather all their food in advance of winter, right? Because you can't survive through the winter without a hoard, without savings, without a hoard. And here we have the Ten of Pentacles. So yeah, I do see an element of, with that problem solving, I do see an element of having to budget as well, having to assign, like really understanding your finances and having a budget and saving up, storing some funds in particular categories, because what it seems like to me is that you are going to shift into this very active mode of production and creation. And it's going to be such kind of a complex, it's going to be quite a, it's going to be a lot of moving parts, it's going to be a lot of activity. And there are certain things you just can't anticipate. So this is really saying, like, with everything that's about to happen, you want to make sure you have some wiggle room. So make sure you're not just using this downtime to, squander some money you saved up. Like, really try to live very simply for now, so that as your life becomes more complicated and exciting and adventurous and you're in full creative mode, you really do have the funds to do what you want to do. You're not limited by the budget. Okay, so that's one piece of advice there. Ooh, that's a lot of cards. Let's take these two. Too many cards here. Your dreams are closer than you think. Very cool. What else do we have? And that's the 44. I like the 44 card there, because the Emperor, again, figures very strongly in this reading. Under a spell. That's so funny. So yeah, there's something interesting here, which is I do feel like I'm getting two messages. And it just could be the same. You could be one person that this all applies to, but like, I feel like you are probably using this downtime to also improve your love life. And there may be someone special in your life. I'm definitely getting a strong sense that someone special is already in your life, and so the relationship can be deepened and improved right now. I'm also getting a sense that, just your ideals, right? Like your idea of the perfect mate, the perfect spouse, the perfect life partner, your ideals are coming more to the forefront, and if you have this time for reflection, you can now kind of sort yourself out, sort out your feelings on that, and really embrace new love, embrace the deepening of love, embrace the harmony, right, that can come into your life with a supportive partner. Your dreams are closer than you think, and we see here this hand reaching out to a cup overflowing. So again, you are on the verge of greatness, truly, like strong indications. The patience is definitely needed, but just because it's quiet doesn't mean you need to doubt yourself. Like, don't let the vacuum and the inactivity allow you, you know, self-critical thoughts to creep in. Don't allow the doubting self-doubts to creep in. Use this time to, again, like, spruce up, you know, your environment, right? Gather your nuts, meaning like not just saving finances, but even collecting things, collecting inspirations. Maybe maybe there are books you haven't come around to reading, or maybe there are some people you've been meaning to follow on, you know, like gather your nuts. That to me also is about like what is that word? The reserves. Yeah, the reserves can have all sorts of meanings here. Your emotional reserves, your inspirational reserves, your yeah, so not just financial, but even like gather your nuts. Like maybe you've had ideas throughout the year, throughout the last production cycle. Maybe you had all these sources of inspiration that you just had to like jot down these notes and like put it aside, or you like bookmarked a web page, or you you know, you saved an article, you saved like an Instagram account or something. Like I feel like you had squirreled away these ideas that you didn't have time for, and now you can just at least consolidate all of them and then figure out like what's really resonating for you now. What are the ideas? What are the new ideas, the new projects, the new inspirations that are exciting you now? And that will give you the stamina, right, to endure the next chapter, because the next chapter is going to there's going to be so much going on that you don't want to drain yourself, and you don't want to lose, you want to remember why you're doing what you're doing, right? You don't want the petty differences, petty struggles to get in the way of your big goal here, right? So sometimes we need to remind ourselves why we're doing this big, difficult, gargantuan thing. We need these things to keep us inspired on a daily basis, right? To keep up that motivation. So now is the time to gather those sources of inspiration and motivation, and those reasons, right? Gather up those reasons of motivation as well. Wow, so cool. If you are planning a wedding, I'm just saying, I do see a potential wedding. If you are planning a wedding, this could also mean gathering all the sources of inspiration you had for the wedding, like, you know, every single fashion designer that you were interested, every like picture, gown, decor, like gather up all that the inspiration, because then when you get into the next phase and you have to come up with an idea for this, you have some ideas already ready, right? You have these things already sorted out, and you're not going to go searching, you're not just going to go grasping for like something to fill in the space, but you're really going to have the specific ideas, right? So it's like, instead of having a vague idea, what you're doing is you're filling all the pieces of the puzzle. So that's another way to look at that, which is very cool. And it really makes sense, because I do see you having to take on this complex process and solve something that's quite complex, but you're doing it just by simplifying whatever you can. Yeah, 10 of Wands. See, simplifying. Don't give yourself any extra burdens, and don't give yourself new problems to solve. Simplify it, because you know what you're trying to accomplish can't be done in a day. It is something that has to be achieved over a period of time. So the more you can do to simplify that process and that way of getting things done, the better. Can we get advice for pile 3? Or can we get let's get another specific card for your true calling. Oh, the Star. Very cool. Yeah. Wow, this card is telling me something. Let me think about this one. Pile 3's true calling. Oh, sorry. Kind of a weird way to pull cards for me, but I have a message here. There is something here. Let me just go down this road. Wow, we have the Strength card. We have the Six of Cups. We have the King of Swords falling on the Knight of Swords. We have the Queen of Swords. Oh my goodness, falling on the Four of Wands and the Lovers. And we have the Seven of Wands. Okay, let's have put the Ten of Wands there. So pile 3, your true calling. This is an additional message, additional insight. Okay, I'm seeing here that you are about to embark, again, quiet before the storm, verge of success, verge of a lot of activity. There is somebody in your life that is a supportive partner, or someone who really matches you in a very special way. Like they match your intellect, or they match your philosophy. Perhaps there's someone who you've really been able to bounce ideas off of. Could even be a collaborator. Like when I mentioned maybe you work in the entertainment industry, this could be somebody who you've partnered with, right? Like to do your work. So the true calling has something here about I think making amends and having some kind of reunion, maybe being able to forgive something that in hindsight was quite a petty difference or a petty disagreement. I think there's something here about taking the higher road and being the bigger person and asking for, I don't know, maybe it is asking for forgiveness, but it is to me something about repairing some damage in this collaboration. Yeah, so that is a message for somebody out there. But I do feel like in terms of your calling, you don't have much confusion about what that is for you. It's just been a matter of when. And right now, this reading is catching you at a very crucial, pivotal moment, because this is a very special moment of downtime that you should take advantage of. Take this time to reflect, count your blessings, give yourself a pat on the back for all the crap you had to put up with and all the crap you had to solve just to get things done, in the last production cycle, the last creation cycle. And repair any relationships that you think is worth repairing. Really take a look back at what's happened and ask yourself, are there people that I'm not talking to, or is there a person I'm not talking to, for a good reason, or is it really not that good of a reason? Should I, approach them with some compassion and forgiveness and a healthy boundary as well, knowing that because you're empowered here, you're the one who gets to choose who has a special place in your life. You can, approach someone knowing that it's okay to have a discussion, it's okay to have a conversation without any promises, without any commitments, but it's just a conversation, just eye to eye, to just discuss, talk over differences, and pave the way for that diplomacy. That's what I would say for that. But yeah, there are people watching this who could be in a relationship that they're also planning a next level for that relationship, like a wedding, or just really expanding all the exciting activities in the relationship and sharing that life with someone. So that's another thing. That's another message included here. But yeah, there's a lot going on, but I hope you got the gist of it. I hope I was able to explain it. Pile 3, You got a lot going for you, and you know, at this point it's really just a matter of, you know, being patient and using the time that you have to yourself, using it wisely. And yeah, and I'm practicing some gratitude. You know, you've been through a lot, put a lot behind you, you're ready to move on, you're ready for the new challenges. So pile 3, very cool reading. I wish the best for you. I wish the best of luck for you. And don't forget, you know, all the power and potential that you have that is about to be expressed. So pile 3, take care. If this resonated, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And feel free to comment and let me know how this connected with you. Take care.